everyone, welcome back to Car's Garage. And today I want to show you guys around the newly built Car's Garage and also talk about the F430 that I have owned about 3 to 4 months by now. What to look after and what to watch out when you're buying a used F430. But anyway guys, before we do that, why don't we take a quick tour of the new Car's Garage. Of course guys, I have cleaned all the windows here. So right now at the nighttime with the newly installed LED blue lights, the washing bay as well as the garage itself look absolutely amazing. And of course, this is the newly built Car's Garage. We have the Porsche 911 paint, some alien stuff here with the pyramid, some rocket and cartoons on the other side, volcano, and of course we have some posters I just purchased online, and I think those posters look pretty nice. And over here we have a flat screen TV playing Car's Garage video, and I have stocked it with a bunch of car wash supplies, and we have a bucket here with almost everything you need to clean your car. And this is what I recommend if you don't have an air pump at home but you still want to use the snow foam car wash. So what you do is you mix it up with the snow foam and water, and you just pump the air inside, and when you push this button here, it will spray the snow foam on your car, which is pretty easy to use, and this one is pretty cheap as well. And of course you have the turtle wax and a bunch of other 3M cleaners and towels inside. And over here we have water, snacks, and you also have the pictures that I took during fuel run with the Corvette C6, the Huracan from Houston, exotic cars in Vegas, and we also have the picture that I took with Roman Grosjean. And of course here we have the mini fridge. It's actually packed with cold drinks, and of course over here we have more stuff to use, more car wash supplies as well. And yeah, and we have the F430 right around here. So ideally speaking, when I start to operate this car wash commercially in about a couple of days, hopefully this will be a place where all the car guys can come here and wash their cars, you know, just chill here, watch some movies. Of course we still need a front desk girl, but we'll talk about that later. But right now, let's talk about the F430. Alright guys, so the F430 is here. I just drove it, and there are some very common problems on those particular models that you need to watch out if you want to buy an F430 from the market. And the biggest problem is actually not the engine itself. Compared to the 458, this engine is actually pretty reliable. But the biggest problem of this car, so let's talk about the first one, is the exhaust bracket. Now the exhaust bracket on this car love to break off, and when it happens you will notice the vibration from the exhaust system as well as the tailpipe, which on this side is normal high, but on this one it's actually crashed all the way down. Unfortunately, you can weld it, but it's not going to solve the actual problem. You can see the muffler right here, and we actually have brackets mounting on each side, and those are the bracket you need to watch out when buying an F430, because otherwise you'll probably end up replacing the exhaust muffler with an aftermarket brand, which is not cheap at all, trust me. And another problem of the F430 to watch out is the tail lights. Now make sure the tail light is secure, because the car lights will evaporate a lot because of the engine design here, and you just need to make sure those are not vibrating too much. If you have too much play, make sure to replace it. Like this one is just a little bit play, but you know, they do sell aftermarket LED for the F430 model, but those are again very expensive to replace because they have a plastic clips inside, and when that breaks, it's game over. Almost forget, guys. Another very major problem of the F430 is the leaking or cracked headers. Now I have replaced a brand new headers on this car. It took about 2 weeks to make and produce the header itself, and here's a picture of the header, as you can see. Now if you don't replace a cracked header, the temperature inside your engine bay is going to raise dramatically, and that is not good for the F1 pump and other component of the car, because the F1 pump not only pumps hydraulic pressure to the clutch, but it also supplies hydraulic pressure to the ED system on the F430. So I know people buy a very small controller that actually bypass the ED system in certain modes, so it supplies better hydraulic pressure to the clutch instead of both of them. But you know, if you're not experiencing any problem like me, I haven't found any problem with the clutch yet, always in the system, I don't think you should buy such stuff, a controller, just to bypass the ED system. But anyway, guys, that's about it with the engine. So headers, exhaust bracket, fuel pump, those are pretty major problem of the F430, and also the loosened tail lights. Those can cost you a fortune to replace. So definitely watch out. Okay, so another problem to watch out is the fuel pump. If you remove this side of the panel, you can actually see the fuel pump right inside. Now here is a picture of the fuel pump. Now, if it starts to leak, you will have to replace it immediately, because not only because of the smell of the gasoline, but because it is a fire hazard, and it actually shares the same part as the Maserati. So it's a Bosch fuel pump, and what happened is the top of the plastic cover crack because of the heat and age, and it would start to leak gasoline. Another problem of this car is actually to watch out is the F1 pump, which is located on this side of the car. And I examined my F1 pump. Fortunately, it has been replaced. And there are also the clutch itself, which I'm going to send this car back to a workshop tomorrow to replace a brand new clutch. Now, after that, I really can't come up with anything to fix on this car. And I have spent a lot of money replacing every single component from the suspension. Now, a few months ago, I brought an aftermarket suspension, and it lowers the car dramatically, almost, you know, flying on the ground. And the quality, the ride quality is really bad. So I have to switch back to the factory suspension, and you can actually adjust the height of the F430 with a special tool. Now, right now is the maximum height you can get on the F430. And the reason why I choose to raise the car up is because the road condition here in China is not good at all. So instead of lowering it, I have decided to raise it up. And it looks weird, but it's good for the car. If you decide to drive it more often than just park it on the garage, inside the garage. But anyway, guys, another very common problem is the mirror here. I actually have a cracked mirror, and trust me, the mirror itself cost about $10,000 to replace here in China. So it's definitely not something fun to do, and it's very hard to find aftermarket parts. And this is actually a very common problem on the F430 as well. So definitely watch out. Alright, so I'm going to give you guys a final overview of the F430 engine. Now, this engine is what Ferrari called F130's engine family. and it also shares with the Maserati family as well. Now, the Maserati Camping Corsa Coupe that I owned before has the original F136 engine, and that particular engine was so successful back in the days. Ferrari have decided to put into the F430. Now, this is a very different engine compared to the 360, and like a typical Ferrari mid-engine car, the F430 put the muffler right around here, and this thing produces a lot of heat inside the engine bay. But as you can see, you have almost a direct vent to the outside with this match here, so it performs a better cooling sensation here. And you have your coolant tank right on top in between the two air intake. So you have two air intake on each side that leads to the beautiful red cover, which I have painted just to make it look good. And of course, you have a dry sump unit. You can actually see all the spark plugs and the ignition coil down there, so it's not that hard to replace them if you really need to do a tune-up on the F430. And I think this design is pretty good. You can actually see the transmission down there. So yeah, this engine is absolutely beautiful. You also have those air vents on the side, additional vents, and air intake around here. So yeah, you can also check out the brake vents down there as well. So this is a beautiful engine. Honestly speaking, I haven't encountered any engine problem at all whatsoever. I would just suggest you to do a regular maintenance on the car, flushing all the fluids, including the F1 fluid, the engine oil, the coolant, everything. But I did a full maintenance on this car. As you can see in the picture, we basically replaced every single worn item on this car, including fluids and air filters. Now, yeah, so this is absolutely, I keep staring at it, I just cannot stop looking at this beautiful machine. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're on the market looking to buy F430, I think back in the state, most of the F430 are for sale around $100,000 and above. And I think the biggest problem of the F430 is those three issues that I talked earlier: cracked header, tail lights, and the exhaust bracket. And of course, anything on this car, the accessories, the parts are very expensive. Aftermarket exhausts are very expensive as well. So definitely, you need to have a lot of money after you purchase F430 in order to keep it in running good shape. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to comment, subscribe. As always, I'll see you guys very soon. Cheers.